going on, everybody? Welcome to the Best Family Homestead. I'm Aaron, and if you tuned into some of my other videos, you saw me build my raised hugelkultur bed here and how I tied up my tomatoes. So as you can see, they are taking off and growing and getting to the point where I really need to keep tying them up to make them easier to take care of. So I think we're going to do that. Plus, we need to go in and do some suckering. So I think I might have mentioned suckering before, I'm not sure. Much easier to do when the plant's small. So you can see in between where the main branches split, where they've been growing. You can see where there's new little shoots starting to form. And here's a good example. So what that is a sucker. It's just kind of a parasite, an offshoot where it's growing extra branches that it doesn't need. So what happens if you don't go in and pull the suckers, all you gotta do is just pick them off like that. Your plant is going to put the energy into making bigger leaves instead of bigger ripe fruit. So by keeping these suckers pulled and not letting them ever get established, you're making sure that your plant's going to produce the biggest, best fruit it can. See, here's when you can see it's gotten really big. It's put all this energy into this sucker. I don't want to do that. So I'm just kind of pulling these things out of here. Here's another one. See, this one has some big suckers. I don't want any suckers. All I want is just my main. Now see, this one I got really far behind on and it's real big, but it's got flowers, so I'm gonna leave it. Same with that one. Yeah, so I definitely need to go through and sucker these before they get too big, because it will get too big enough to the point that if you try to sucker it, it will hurt the plant, like ripping a big branch off. So we're going to go ahead and go through here and pull some of these big suckers. A lot better is to take care of them when they're little. Might need to grab my knife to snip these nice and clean. When they're little, all you got to do is just pinch them and pull them off. And one other thing I did want to show you guys about how my tying method. Remember I said down here, or I said to make sure and keep, I got some caterpillars. Make sure and not tie the bottom too awful tight. Well, I left these pretty loose, and my twine, my tomato plants are getting big, and my twine is still starting to cut into the bottom of my plant here and grow into my twine. I do not want that to happen. So I am going to have to go in here and loosen up my bottom part a little bit. There we go, because at this point all the weight's being held up here. So we'll go ahead and get started on tying one up. Right, so we made that slip clove hitch to make this easy. So all I got to do is loosen that slip clove hitch, and just like I tied them up the first time, bring my twine down here, go underneath one of my bigger branches, bigger leaves. I don't know if you call tomato plants branches. Go all the way around it, pull it back where it's standing up nice and straight and tight, retie my slip clove hitch, and voila. Right here I have one suckered and retied tomato plant. Actually, there is. I'm gonna have to do a little work here on some pest control. It actually hadn't been too awful bad. All right, well, let's get started and get all these things tied up and suckered. I hear thunder. Okay, so you can see I actually did probably wait quite a bit too long to sucker these tomatoes. Really, to keep up with them good, you've got to sucker them every few days, especially when they have as much fertilizer in them as these do. And when I was standing over there, I saw one I missed. Where did I put it? I'll find it. But you got to really stay on top of it. Now, it might seem a little bit counterproductive to take this much, or to be cutting this much of the leaves and stuff off, but it really is going to make a big difference and give you much bigger, healthier tomatoes. Kind of a quality over quantity thing. And here's the one I missed. Yeah, see, that's a good example right there. That sucker, you know, yes, these will produce tomatoes, but they're not going to produce great tomatoes. It'll produce a lot of smaller ones. I want nice big fat ones. So big juicy tomato sandwich tomatoes. So Aaron's got to stay on top of his suckering and tying a little bit more. Always seems like you always overlook a few here. All right, that looks a little bit better. And you can see everything's doing pretty good in here. Okra plants, killing it. Peppers are coming on strong. Lots of peppers. Some of the peppers over here aren't quite as good yet. Looks like I'm gonna have to do a little cedar side spraying. Oh, there we go. I got little peppers. I think those might be bananas. I hope so. The one in the pot's looking real good. It's got blooms. Yeah, so everything's coming on and looking real good. So the hugelkultur definitely works. And here's one of the great things about having a raised bed. Oh, I got all these weeds. No. Oh, it's so easy to pull. I don't have to hoe anything. All I gotta do is I come out here every time I walk by and just, and there's my weeding really for the day. So much better than hoeing. Now we'll see when my crop comes out, we'll see how many plants I get, you know, compared to putting them in the ground. But as far as ease of taking care of them, you really cannot beat the raised beds. Well, I got another vegetable. I got a vegetable fruit I gotta take care of. I'm gonna go show you guys. So we'll walk over there and I'll show you my my surprise. Okay, so we're done with our tomato and garden suckering. Time to take care of the goats. And they get their hay in the afternoon. Now I've managed to get a lot of them where they don't get out. As you can see, I still got that one little girl that gets out. And it occurred to me that I hadn't, maybe a lot of newer subscribers hadn't got a chance to see the goats yet. So, uh-oh, what's the string? Here we go, ladies. So we did have a lot more, really more than we should have, than the property could contain. So we have downsized. We found homes for part of them on other farms. Don't worry, I made sure that where they went, it wasn't anywhere they were going to get eaten. We like them too much. And we've got CB, Clarabelle. She's a white one because she looks like the cow Clarabelle. Esme, she's one of our originals. She's about 4 years old and she is pregnant. Daphne. This one, I'm not sure she even has a name. She is one of Gigi's. Gigi here, she's one of our bottle babies, and she got her head stuck in the fence when she was little. And you can see that horn. I thought the horn was going to fall off, but it started growing. It grew back together, and then I was worried it was going to curl into her head. So I have to cut it off. But besides it maybe bugging her ear a little bit, it's just going to be a funky looking horn. You can see the mess from Walter, or not Walter, from Oakley, where I usually keep all the feed bags in a big feed bag, and he got crazy and decided to tear them all up. I need to come in here and clean them up. I have not had a chance. And we got one more little one here I need to let in. Also, I don't think we have named her yet. But instead of having, you know, I think we had like 16. Come on, baby, go, go, go. There you go. We had like 15, way too many, because the billies are impossible to keep in the goat enclosure, any kind of fence. So we downsized. Like I said, a couple of them are pregnant, and not this year, maybe next year I will rent a billy goat should I decide and get some more baby goats, because they are fun. But that's our goats and our crazy messy goat pen right now. A little goat house, if you remember from the estate sale, that's one of the things that was given to me. Perfect goat house. Can't blow apart, can't blow down, heavy. And for the size we have now, they all go in there, and when it's cold, and it stays nice and warm. And this is my Gigi. Hey, sweetie. They're nothing basically but, well, they're not even big dogs. They're nothing but little dogs with horns. All right, so on to the next thing we have. He's still showboating. I don't know why. Mating season is pretty much over. Unfortunately, our female guinea, she's too young. Next year though, 3 years old. She's only 2. Female guinea. I said female guinea. Our female peacock. She's 2. So next year though, maybe she'll have eggs. And also one of my favorite times of year, I get to pick up peacock feathers. I have quite a few of them from the past few years. And this year I'm determined to do something cool with them. So I'm gonna figure out something nice and interesting to do with the peacock feathers, because they drop a lot of feathers. Gonna be interesting. And if you guys remember, I had gotten Caroline some peacocks for her birthday. And unfortunately, they weren't as easy as peacocks we've adopted and gotten in the past. And they didn't get eaten or killed that I know of, but they did the peacock thing. And peacocks wonder. People honk at ours and get a hold of us and say, oh, your peacock's out, you lost your peacock. No, sir. I did not lose my peacock. My peacock is exactly where it should be, which is where it wants to be. And I've had people tell me, your peacock's over here, do you want to come catch it? My response every time to that is, go ahead and catch that peacock and let me know how that goes for you. Trust me, I've tried. It doesn't go well. So my take on peacocks, one, besides them being just big, huge, magnificent birds, I could not keep a peacock cooped up. So they wander a little bit. They tend to come back, but I couldn't keep them in a small cage or a coop or anything. They're too big and free-spirited to be pinned up. Now I'm gonna get some more pretty colored peacocks next year for Caroline, but I am going to build a big aviary for them just for about the first 6 months. Should have done that this year, because that way they will learn where their home is, and then after that you turn them out and they come back. They'll stick around the area, so I am going to have to do that. All right, so a lot of you guys have asked how this is doing. Now you can see it's not really good right now. One of the things we're going to do here in a minute is put some wire around it. Just I think it's been the chickens. All right, so this is what I've been working on while I've been talking, and you've seen the camera being all crazy. So you remember our mystery volunteer plant? I said watermelon, but I don't think it is a watermelon. I agree. A lot of people said, oh, those aren't watermelon leaves. Yes, I think you're right. However, I think I did figure out what kind of plant it is. I think that we have here an eggplant. Get it? So what we have here is a little clutch of guinea hens, or guinea eggs. And we don't have a male guinea, so we won't have any guinea babies, unfortunately. Yep, so I've got my all natural volunteer eggplant. Let's see, I know I can set them down without breaking them. That's one of the crazy things about guinea eggs, and they are tough, they are hard. Like when you crack them to cook them, it's difficult. So now back to our mystery plant. I don't have any, you can see the flowers, you can see where, I'm not sure that's a flower. I saw some where it looked like some fruit or melons, maybe a cantaloupe was starting to come out. There's also quite a few places where the flowers have been knocked off, and I think that's probably due to the either goats, which they haven't eaten any of it, or the chickens and guineas coming here and eating around it. Also, you can see it needs watered. I've come out here 3 or 4 times to water it, just like today, just a minute ago when I was doing the tomatoes, was thundering. I'm like, yep, here it comes. So I'm like, well, I won't worry about watering it because it's about to rain. No, we have had a little bit of rain, but it needs some more. Goodness gracious, I'm telling you what, folks, I don't know what this is. If you go back and watch the video where I first introduced it, like now it's from here, here's one shoot, you know, all the way down here. It's growing up on the goat play bench, which I need to move over there, you know, growing up next to this tree, and At this point, it's probably 70, 75 feet. And I still don't know what the heck it is. Hopefully I'll find out soon. I'm just waiting for the first little melons or squash or whatever it is to form off the flowers so we can figure it out. But in the meantime, I'm gonna keep watering it and see what happens. So I'm gonna go ahead here and get the sprinkler hooked up, and then we'll turn it on for a little while and give it a drink. And actually, before we do that, I'm going to put some wire around it so that maybe the chickens will stop knocking off the blooms. That's all I can figure is happening. Definitely the guinea probably not doing any good getting in that one little spot. You can see where the guinea eggs were, where it looks mangled up there. All right, let's do some mystery gourd protecting, mystery melon eggplant protection. All right, so obviously this fence is not meant to really seriously keep a whole lot of stuff out. I just wanted to kind of block it off to keep the chickens from freely, like if they want to fly over and get in there, then hey, more power to them. But at least it'll kind of keep them from just wandering in there for now. Aiden's turning on the sprinkler. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where goats and stuff have ran on it, where it's broke, and chickens. So we'll see, make sure the sprinkler isn't hosing it kink. And there we go. This thing goes in the ground all over the place. Everywhere it touches, it pretty much roots. So yeah, it's actually covering all of it. Okay. So basically what I'm doing here is watering all the weeds and one mystery eggplant. But I really hope it produces something of whatever it is. So I am curious now. Really curious. Well, you can see we've been making progress, sort of getting everything cleaned up around here. And hoping to get started on the old army truck here pretty quick. Oh, this place looking good here in a little while. I will. All right, everybody. Well, one thing I'm not sure if I ever showed. I've got a couple of these around. This is my best one. This is my persimmon tree. And this thing hangs absolutely slap full every year. I got one in the back too. Great for baiting deer, even though I don't really hunt that much. I could if I wanted to. All right, well, let's try this again. Hope you guys liked my little tour around of the animals. Well, at least the peacocks and goats and eggplant. Make sure and like, subscribe, and share. Especially subscribe so that you don't miss a moment of the goings on around here. And watch the transformation, because this place is going to be looking ship shape here very shortly. Well, y'all have a good night. have a good dinner, because I know I will.